Most service-based founders aren't getting consistent leads with LinkedIn, even though they're being consistent. And if this sounds like you, then in this video, I'll be sharing the three problems I come across when I'm chatting with them. So the first thing I find is that they have a confusing profile. Bearing in mind my handwriting is still as bad as it is. So the reason for this, right? Because when you're trying to design your profile, people often try and get clever. They try and get clever, they try and stand out because no one wants to be the same, right? Everyone wants to stand out, have their own little thing that people remember them for. But in the process, this just leads to confusion. And I see this very, very often. I see this in profiles where I come across LinkedIn profiles, and especially in the headline is maxed out as much as it can. And it'll include nonsense such as that they're a speaker, that they're this, and that, like all sorts of different titles and things that people call themselves, that they call themselves, award-winning things, and it's all irrelevant. Now, if you have social proof, like social proof, then yeah, you can put in the headline. I've seen people do it before. That's fine. However, everything else should pretty much be anywhere else but your headline. Now, yeah, you also have your banner there as well. But when people are viewing your profile, right, bearing in mind they are coming from places like your content, whether it be video or written, and then maybe even coming from the comments you leave as well on other people's posts. And they're all coming to this profile here. And assuming you're on LinkedIn to sign clients, right? If you're not on LinkedIn to sign clients, ignore this. But if you're on LinkedIn to sign clients, then the first thing they're going to see is obviously they're going to see this banner up here. They're going to see your profile and they're also going to see your headline. And if they want to scroll down, they can. And so if this right here, if this headline right here isn't very clear on who you help, what you do and how you do it, then you've lost them immediately. It's game over. It's literally game over. So you need to make sure that this is very clear. And even with the banner as well, I see a lot of banners that get really crowded because obviously there's a lot of room here, right? There's a lot of room in this banner. And most people think they need to fill it up massively. And I did when I first started as well. However, and same goes for the headline. A lot of people think they need to fill up their headline and add lots of nice things. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. 'Cause what we're aiming for clarity. We're aiming for clarity because when we can get clarity with our profile, then people know what we do, right? Right? They have at least some level of confidence to say to themselves, that's exactly what they do. And that's all you're looking for, right? All you're looking for. We can worry about social proof and stuff further down the profile. But all I'm looking for when it looks to a profile, when I'm looking at someone's profile, is in the headline, in this headline bit here, all I'm looking for is simply I help, ideal client, and then get, and then whatever result it is, or whatever result you get someone, or whatever problem you help solve, and then with, and then however you do it. So for me, it's literally I help service-based founders sign clients with LinkedIn. Super simple and yes, super boring, but it works. People can read that and with no brain power whatsoever, they can understand exactly what I do. And that's all you're looking for. You're not trying to, have loads and loads of bits and stuff in your headline to make people scratch their head and think what on earth you're trying to get across. And with the banner, all you're looking for is the main result that you're going to get them. So for me, it's just increasing revenue. Simple as that. Obviously, I've also got videos on more in depth on profiles. So you do want to see that, then you can obviously check out the video, which I'll probably link below. If not, you'll be able to find it as well in a couple videos back. So I don't. So that's really the main stuff you need to think about when it comes to profiles. So that's number one, right? Now, the second one is to do with content because what you're probably having is that your content is not actually speaking to the right people. And the reason for this is a few things. So one of the problems is you might find is that I'm gonna call this 2A actually, so we don't get confused. One of the things is that actually the content you're writing is simply targeted all at one type of individual, right? Yeah, sure, you're writing for your ideal client. That's great. but they're targeting at one type of individual, which maybe usually is the person that is ready to buy. So this will usually be content that is purely trying to, promote the offer, the services you're having. Maybe you're putting out loads of stuff about how you've got an offer going on, you've got this deal going on. There's only 24 hours until you're closing or whatever. Like, I mean, that works, but if that's the only type of content you're pushing, or majority speaking, this is the problem because not everyone in your audience is ready to buy. Matter of fact, there's obviously like probably in my opinion three types of like, or at least buckets of, people you could put into, right? So yeah, we have the people that are solution aware, aka the people that you're probably currently targeting with the more sort of sales approach, right? Which is great, but we also still have some other people which don't really fit into that category. Because for example, what we also have is people that are problem aware, right? Because you're going to have people that are aware of the problem but not aware of the solution, and that's completely natural if you think about it, right? And so, if you're creating this content that is purely targeted at selling your offer, then how is that helping the people, or how is that even going to resonate with these type of people here? Well, answer is it's not. So you want to also make sure you're creating content for the people that are problem aware but not solution aware. And bearing in mind, this isn't just, hey, for the solution aware people, it's not just, hey, I've got my offer which is going to help your problem, right? You want to make sure that the solution for them is logical. If it's logical and it makes sense and it aligns with their emotions, then that's what's going to help someone who's problem aware become solution aware. Become solution aware, they're probably going to be a bit more likely to then, or at least if you've made them solution aware, you help shift that awareness one step closer, then they're probably going to be more likely to then reach out to you. But then we got this last one. And this last one is actually quite, a good chunk of your audience, which are going to be problem unaware. People that don't even realize that you have a problem, that or at least a problem that you can solve, or a problem that is in relation to your offer, right? And this is, I mean, this is common, right? And actually, a great example of this, I actually had I've had a few websites in my time, all made by me. And I didn't realize it, but I was having a conversation with someone who was, funnily enough, in the website space. And he basically looked at my website and pretty much just said, "This is pretty bad." Or at least he asked if I was gonna. Well, he asked if I was open to some feedback, and he basically said it's really not that good. And it's funny because I looked at his website, and his website was incredible, or at least incredible compared to mine. And he was pretty much saying, like, as blunt as it was, to say it's better for you to not have a website at all than have it there, which hurt a bit, but that made me problem aware. And when I looked at my website, and yeah, sure, he said that obviously, because he does website stuff. When I actually looked at my website and took on a bit of his feedback, I was like, well, it makes sense. That does look a bit rubbish. And so when I realized that, I obviously went from problem unaware to problem aware. I was never going to worry about my website. I thought my website was fine. But then I went from problem unaware to problem aware. And now that I was problem aware, I was like, oh, that's a good point, right? He made some good points there. And I mean, he even gave me some feedback and things that I could try out. And so that made me problem aware. And, you know, it's the thing, if I saw this solution aware content, or even, problem aware content, if I saw that website stuff, I wouldn't have even really realized. I wouldn't have like, oh no, that's probably fine. But if I saw problem unaware content, or had a conversation like I did there that made me aware of the problem, then I'd realize I have a problem and I might be wanting to try and solve it, right? And naturally, if I wanted to actively get someone else to help me, then I might have then straight up requested if he could help me with it, right? And so what's really good about this is that you can get people from any form of content you put out to come in as an inbound lead. A lot of people think you need to push out this sales type of content to get leads, and this isn't true, at least when you're following this model anyway. So that's usually the main thing as well. The only other thing I find that people tend to have a problem with when it comes to content is they're acting like too much of an influencer. They're trying to really push themselves out there. They're talking all about them. And honestly, when you're on LinkedIn, right, your audience has a problem, a desire, and a roadblock, right, that's preventing you from getting there. And if you're not speaking to either of them, or at least more consistently, right, you can put out some personal posts. But if you're not speaking to those pains, those desires, and those roadblocks consistently, then you're going to have a problem, and you're not going to be seeing your content working so much. And then the last thing that I see people having a struggle with, which is preventing them from signing those clients, is really coming across as salesy in the conversations, or at least in the DMs, if I say. And this is a huge problem because if we just look back on what we've covered so far, right? If we have made this profile look, very clear, it's very attractive, we've got social proof in there, and obviously, if you want to learn more about that, I've got a video on that. And then let's say we've got the content nailed down, right? Where we're targeting all these three different types of awareness. That's fantastic. But all of that is then going to get filtered to the DMs. They're going to all get filtered to the DMs. Yes, maybe you might get someone that immediately books in a call with you, but a lot of the time they want to have at least a quick interaction with you before they do that. Well, whether they even considered they were booking in with you or not. And the thing is that if you're coming across as salesy, you're going to be pushing away all those people, which meant that after all that effort of getting your profile done and making sure that was good, and making sure that the content you're putting out, whether it be video or whatever it is, and that was good. When it then gets to actually the DMs, if you haven't got the DMs mastered, then they stop there, right? They're not going to get any further. So you need to make sure all these three things are then sorted. Well, how do you even go to sort these? Well, a lot of the time, people are, coming across as pushy because of the system they're using. They're trying to sell to people. Maybe people show interest, but then like you almost come on too hard onto them, and then like try and sell to them immediately. So really, all I like to see it as is I like to focus on. First of all, I like to focus on my intent-based leads. The first place I start for these intent-based leads, which my handwriting is still very bad. These intent-based leads are your warm leads, right? These are people that have intentionally made the first move on you. So this will be people that are profile viewers, people that maybe have engaged with you or connected with you or even followed you, right? These are the type of people, and all you're going to try and do here is start conversation with these people, right? Because on LinkedIn, obviously you're able to look at the profile viewers and the engagers on your content. So if you can, get a list of these people, make sure you've actually opened up their profiles. You can then send them a connection request or start a conversation, and you can all like obviously that's going to be what helps start the conversation. Now, the funny thing is, we like obviously we want people to first DM us. However, a lot of the time people aren't, quite ready to do that. And so I find that some people that send me a connection request, I will start the conversation and, even just ask, "Hey, are you here for the content of signing clients?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm here for signing clients." And it's weird because you would have thought they'd be the one to want to send the message first. So this is why it's so important to be able to immediately start this conversation, especially with these people that are warmer, because you can find people that are pretty much ready to buy, that are really quite searching for that solution. So this is really, really quite good. So when we're actually sending this first message, really, we just want to focus on complimenting them. Obviously, if we can share, say, where we found them, that obviously works as well. And then maybe even asking a question in relation to, or at least like in relation to, say, our niche, or just to start the conversation. And then from there, we want to be asking, almost pre-qualifying questions. Now, this doesn't have to be super, super deep, right? A lot of the time you want to first figure out if they've even got a problem. Now, when I think about trying to identify the problem, I think of the doctor mindset, right? Trying to identify, any symptoms that they have, right, as well as even other things such as, what they've tried before and such. So a lot of the time, the best way I find about doing this is identifying their goals, right? So for example, at the time of recording this, it's the 19th of October. So what I might ask is something like, "Oh, hey, see your, I don't know, well, at least in my experience, I might say, hey, see your, I don't know, X amount of years into your business," because obviously, like on LinkedIn, you can see their experience section. Congrats. What's your goals, or what's your focus for the end of the year, right? It sort of makes sense, right? If I were just to ask, "What's your goals?" Right? It's a bit broad, but it makes sense because toward the end of the year, obviously, people are more, I suppose, like in a rush to make the most of the year and such. So that can be a nice way to open up the conversation. And the other thing is, right? People aren't stupid, right? If they see that I've messaged them, right, and they see my headline, which literally says, "I help service based founders sign clients with LinkedIn." They're not going to think, this guy's just being really friendly. No, they know that eventually I'm going to get to that selling point. So, like, and the thing is with this, right? People will respond in either way. They'll either be open about their problems, in which if they are open about their problems, obviously in relation to what I offer, then I know they're going to be open to speaking more about it. However, if they talk about something completely unrelated, I know they don't have a problem, and I can move them off my list and keep going with someone else. So it's super, super simple, right? Now, yes, there is more detail to this, and I mean, if you're someone that is looking for help with this, then I do have a free community below, or if you're looking for one-to-one help with me, then you can see my website as well. But this is pretty much the sort of three mistakes I often see. Because really, let's be honest, if you had a very attractive like profile, right? It's very clear, very attractive, you had social proof in there, it was very clear in terms of who you help, what you do, and how you do it. If you also had content that was speaking to the right people, right? It solved those problems, it helped them get that one step closer to where they wanted to be, and you were able to easily and more smoothly chat and book those calls with the ideal clients, then I don't see how you couldn't be closing more with LinkedIn. So overall, those are the three problems I think you're facing. And like I said before, if you are looking for help with this, I have a free community which you can join below. Or if you're looking for more one-to-one help with me, then you can also see my website for more as well. Cheers.